Hello, guys, and welcome to PE Slick Podcast. It's your host, Ranger Matt. With me is Miss Denise Pence. She played Katie Parker on Guiding Light, and I'm pleased to have her come on board. And here she is. Hey,
How is everyone? Oh, I got glasses on. I'm going to
good.
say hi to everybody here. How are you? You like my COVID
I'm
hair?
good. How are you doing?
I've got hair. I got lots of hair. Nobody's
Yes.
cutting my hair lately. How are you?
I'm
What?
doing well. I can't complain.
Good?
Yes. Thank you for taking the time to come on my podcast, Miss Denise.
Oh, well, no problem, Mr. Sir. Mr. Matt. How long you been
Man.
doing podcasts? Huh? How long have you been doing?
Well, I've been doing this since December of 2019. I've had book authors, including the best friend of mine,
Okay.
my pastor and his son, and a couple other people from the Guiding Light has been on here as well. I had Tina Sloan on here twice.
Tina's great. I'm reading her book now. The Chasing Cleopatra.
Yes,
Reading that. Yes, it's very soap opera.
that's right. Yeah. So to get things started with, I just wanted to ask, where are you from?
Oh, you can't tell? Look at all the turquoise, the El Paso, Texas talk.
Okay. So are
You can
you?
see me out of the country, but you can't, I'm working in a dialects class now, and I was learning RP. RP? No, PR. Oh my God, I forget what she called it. It's proper British.
Right.
PB. I keep calling it anyway. So I was learning the proper English accent with the little, with the other sounds that go with the English Shakespeare and all of that. So I was kind of getting better at it, but Southern drawl is much more up my alley, if you know what I mean.
Yes. So are you a Cowboys fan?
The Cowboys, I can't say no, not really. I've become a complete Yankee fan, and Giants. My husband's rabid, so I've absorbed everything that is my husband. We've been married 40-something years. It's,
Congratulations.
I mean, who knew? I had one
Right.
foot out the door most of the time, but it continues, and I love COVID. I mean, I may be kind of weird, but I've found it a spiritual kind of passage. It's like a cocoon where nothing's going on there, so I can just kind of go inside. I was taking a
Right.
course on The Artist's Way. Have you ever read that book? The Artist's Way?
No.
I got it sitting around here somewhere.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I see it.
It's been in my library for 40 years, and I always had like one chapter. It was bent out to the first week, and I never got any further. And then during COVID, the Episcopal Actors Guild ran this series with a group on Zoom,
Right.
and we got together each week on Sunday, and we would read a chapter, and we would talk, and we would share. And I loved that. It was a way of getting in touch with yourself and being creative. And I really got into it for the 5-6 weeks that COVID was going on. And I liked that. I had a good time with it. And a lot of good stuff happened to us during COVID. I got an agent, which I haven't had since Guiding Light.
Right.
Very major business, right?
Right.
And that only happened, I think, because COVID was shutting down business. So people who were too busy to find me were then opening doors and checking people out that were new or people that had been forgotten. Hello.
Right.
And my stuff was in order because I was still doing auditions. I was still trying to find the work, and I had a really nice self-tape that I just, not expecting anything to come back. And about a week later, I got contract. And I thought, okay, who is this guy? So then I went and I did my own social media research. And it turns out that it's a wonderful agency called Take 3 Talent. And I only knew them as commercial. But I think that over the last few years, they've won like 3 nominations for, I don't know what they call the award for agenting and stuff. I forget what the name of it is. But they've won 3 nominations. They've grown their TV department. They've gained in respect. They're now a slightly bigger agency than Boutique. It's now mid-size. And I'm one of their only gray-haired ladies. So I feel fortunate enough for them to have found me. And, I don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah.
Who knows? It's the same. It's like Guiding Light. I met a random agent, and he threw me in on a random audition that happened to be, they were auditioning for the soaps.
Right.
And I had one agent telling me I was too young for the soaps and the roles that they were casting, and he wouldn't send me in. What? Well, that's in my history lesson number 1. I told you that. You probably know all this because you read all of those. You listened to all of those history lessons. But yeah, the things happen kind of randomly. And I think if you still love what you're doing, I happen to still love the stage, being on the stage, working with a community of actors and writers and directors. I like that. I get my most juice from that. So I keep doing it. God knows why.
Now, do you have any desires to run for mayor? Because you got my vote if you try to run for mayor or president of the United States sometime.
Like Cynthia Nixon, right?
Yeah.
Become an influencer and then really start changing the world. Oh gosh, I wish we could change the world. On all of my social media, I say I want to achieve health and harmony for myself, my family, and the world. That's what I say on social media, I think. And I do believe that. I think health is the biggest gift. If you can take care of yourself and stay healthy, that's a huge thing. And harmony with, it's unfortunate that Guiding Light got out of harmony and the soaps got out of harmony with what, and then they go away. But
I was going to ask you about that. I know you've been off Guiding Light for some time now, but the Guiding Light stayed on for a long time, and when it finally was canceled in 2009, I was going to ask you, what was your reaction when you heard about that? And it was on April Fool's Day.
I was so sad. I'd been gone. They let me go a lot sooner than I felt I should have been let go. I think there was still life in Katie. But again, it's a business, and that history lesson 3 really broke out the business part of what went down. It took about 10 years to really throw everything into demise, but it started, I think, back in that time when things were shifting and people were like, money was tight, and they were like taking people off of contract, people that were important, like Jerry Verdorn.
Yeah.
He goes somewhere else. And, and I was unnecessary. I was never considered a necessary part. And I think, my feeling was, my ego part says, I bet there was a lot of debate. Should we give her full story or should we let her go? And if they gave me full story, a lot of money. Because I was earning a lot of money by then. So I really it took me 2 years to understand it, but Procter & Gamble tried to get me on Another World for a whole lot less money.
Wow.
And I know there's a few other corporate things that went down that I know actors accepted. There's a funny story from Dallas. Do you remember Dallas? The series?
Don't even get me started on that show. That is my favorite show of all time.
Okay, I enjoyed Dallas
Well,
also.
tell your story, and I'll tell Miles about it.
Okay, hold it. There was a
Okay.
season, at the end of a season, they shot down everybody, all the players, right? Mass shooting. And
Right.
then somebody made a joke about the ones that sold their soul rose up the next season and continued to play on the show. Now, I don't know how much of that is true, but, actors, it's a certain value that, you start at the base with nothing. And
Right.
then when the fans start saying you're something and they want to see more of you and you're doing the job, you're skilled, you've trained, all the things start falling in place. And then you go, wait a minute, guys, I earned this,
Right.
and well, they had the power, so I was gone. But that's kind of what I think a lot of actors deal with. And that's probably what the Me Too movement is about now, where the women are starting to go, no, come on, equal pay. I train just as hard as the next guy.
Right.
So why does he deserve more pay than what I'm doing on the same level? Money is a weird thing. It's a balance of worth. I've been very blessed. I've always worked at the top on,
Right.
even when I went into the law firm, I was earning a Broadway salary and I was working really hard, but I was really skilled. So I know I earned that. But that's the other thing. It didn't matter what I looked like. It didn't matter, if I couldn't type and produce the documents for the courts
Right.
in a good period of time, or if I didn't have good penmanship or I didn't know my English language backwards and forwards, I wouldn't have lasted.
Right.
So, it's a different skill set, but again, they paid me for my skill.
Oh, absolutely.
That's all we'd all try to fight for.
Yeah.
It's I'm getting old, but I'm still trying.
No. Because you still like you're in your at least late 20s, early 30s. So you still look good.
And I love you. Thank you. No, my agent has slotted me 50, which is good. I don't mind. I'd like to be 50 again, but we're not going to tell him that.
Oh man. So this is why I'm glad. This is why I'm glad I had you on my podcast. This is really fun. I'm loving this. I'm loving this right now.
Okay, tell me your Dallas story.
So at the time, it's kind of like how I got hooked in the Guiding Light. Back in the day, I was born in '91, and of course, the year Dallas ended.
Time out. Okay. I just have to absorb that for a minute here. 91.
Yep. The year Dallas ended. That's the year I was born. I was born 2 months later.
Still in high school? What is it? Oh my. Okay.
No.
Okay, so tell me.
I graduated 10 years ago from high school.
Okay.
So at that time, cable wasn't like how it is today. It wasn't that many channels, and when cable came out, it wasn't big.
Completely.
Yeah. And there was a channel called SoapNet. It came on SoapNet.
Oh, I remember that. Oh, I do. Yeah, and CBS was not a part of it. It was all ABCs, right?
Yeah, they put Young and the Restless on later, but because I was hoping they put Guiding Light on there as it were times, but they didn't. But they put Dallas on there, and then later that's how I got hooked on the show. And then about 3 years ago, I went to an event in my town of Maryland, and I met Patrick Duffy. And I actually have a T-shirt. I don't have it now, but it says Dallas, who shot JR.
Right. Yeah, that was a biggie. Yeah. It was like Luke and Luke's wedding and who shot JR. I know those were the big deals.
Yeah. I remember the day they showed him on SoapNet. I was going to see a movie, and I was like, "No, I want to see this episode because I've never seen it." So when they re-aired it on SoapNet, I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like you guys when y'all first saw it. But
I think that's given a lot of the soap actors a rebirth.
Right.
the DVDs
Absolutely.
that are out there. I mean, I haven't watched it, but fans send me scenes that I don't even remember shooting. It's
Right.
weird. But yeah, no, it's a different. It's always there. It's like the power of television is phenomenal.
Yeah. But what got me hooked on Guiding Light and soaps in general was, you know, we had cable here and there, but not all the time. And then at one point, I watched Guiding Light when I was home from school for whatever reason, and somehow it led to me writing stories. And I did some short films when I was in college, and I did a short film in 2015 in my last year of school called Shaking Ground, and that was a soap opera.
Well, I think primetime has become soap opera. I mean,
Yeah,
the shows that I like the best are the ones where the major characters transition into something else.
right,
It's not just that Law and Order kind of wrap it up in one episode formula. It's
right,
I keep thinking of House of Cards was always fascinating to me, and
yeah,
all those series that actually Good Wife. That was one of my favorites.
right. I'm on look that show. That's a good one.
Good Fight, good Good Girls Only. That's my rehearsal club musical. So
Right,
it's all that good. There's got to be something in it. I don't know.
absolutely. So when you joined the show in 1977 as Katie Parker, how was that character described to you when you first joined? Was Gail co-producer yet, or was it somebody else?
No. Alan Potter was my producer. He was like a
Okay.
father figure, I think. He watched me grow. I didn't know where I was growing to, and I was really not like every actor that I've only learned this recently. Well, not even recently, but since I've dealt with Guiding Light and everything else, and I see the patterns of behavior and how things are done. An actor comes in for a character that's already been written. That the storyline is set up, and you need this character to fulfill a storyline. And
Right.
they come in, and they may or may not last, or whatever. I was basically an extra. They put me under contract. I had a 2-year contract, but I was basically filling a spot in the nurses' station that Fran Myers left. She played Peggy.
Right.
She was in California. They had an extra slot. It was all timing.
Right.
And they didn't know what to do with me. And the writers were out in California. So what I was getting was they were picking up whatever it was I put on, the energy that I put out.
Right.
And I had a great theater director, married to Jo Beth Williams, John Pasquin.
Okay.
His name is in my head. He's a theater director, and he went to California later, but he was trying to learn to direct television. So he was new at soaps also. And
Right.
he would use the actors like we were in theater. So I felt more at home there. He would direct me, and out of that, I don't know, he found this comedic thing that I found was fun. And I only learned later that I was an unusual character in that I was the only comedic character in daytime.
Right.
And then they tried to write humor, which bombed because it's not the writing that was funny, it's the character that was funny.
Right.
And the situations they put the character in that made it funny. And I was very serious about everything I did. So
Right.
it made it funny. So I was like, and I had a great time with her. She was a lot of fun in the beginning, and I was real proud. And then we got new writers. I survived Doug Marland, who made my character very nice. I was shining a halo most of the time. They had good and bad. And if you were good, you were good. If you were bad, you were bad. Katie was like something between. In the beginning, it was like she did some things, but she didn't really get things done that are so bad she was bad. she was still good. So it was, I don't know. They'd ask me, "Are you good or bad?" And I'm going, "I have no idea." It doesn't. I don't know.
Kind of in the middle there.
Somewhere in the middle. But when Doug came in, I was completely good, and I was victimized by Andy, and it was very dramatic, and and then everything's changed. Then Doug left, and Gail Kobe came in, and I was away on delivering my second baby, and I came into the Riva world. So that was a completely different everything.
Right. Yeah, because when later on toward the time you was before you left the show, but before the last 2 years of your time on the show, they had went on the Lewises and the Spallings. Well, the Spallings had already been on there, but the Lewis came on there, and then they brought in Kim Zimmer, and the show kind of surrounded more around them. And you and Nola, Quint, John Wesley Shipp, Tom Nelson, a lot of you guys who were kind of centered the show kind of was fading a little bit.
I think someone told me, and I don't know how true it is, but new writers are paid based on the characters they develop. And that's probably why a lot of new people come in when you get new writers. There's a trust factor, which I felt was happening with the producer level of it. I mean, like I said, Alan Potter was like a father figure to me. He watched me grow. He watched me having 2 children. He watched my world, my personal world with my theater world. And, he was like, he protected me, I think, a lot. And Gail, was a very powerful woman, an excellent producer. And, but we didn't know each other. She didn't hire me. She didn't care about me. So, and I think down the line, I will find another something where everything aligns the way it did when I first came into Guiding Light, and I won't know it until way after it happens. It's just life, you go like getting married and not knowing you're going to last for 40 years. I mean, who knows? I try to take life as it comes and be flexible enough to live through COVID without getting sick and losing my optimism that everything's going to be fine. But that's my modus operandi in life. I try to look at the cup half full, not empty, not half empty. It's an attitude. It's a choice. It's how you want to write your own soap. Your life is your own soap. So I'd much rather be a character that's struggling and surviving and winning and losing and struggling and surviving and winning. Let's keep that thing going. You learn so much more from losing than you do from winning. So, it's all good. Absolutely. It's a process. I think. I hope. I hope I have another life in television, but I don't know that.
It's not too late. When things officially clear up and you go back and film, I'm sure somebody's going to call you aboard. Do you have any interest to go back to daytime, even though it's only 4 soap operas on the air now?
I don't want to do a soap, especially because they're all out in California and my life is here. And somebody's calling me. Hold on a second. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I don't know those people. This is something I do is I screen all my calls. I don't talk to people I don't know. I don't know. The world's become kind of weird if you ask me because, I'm out on social media, but, I still try to keep that protective thing. You went to my agent to find me. I like having an agent again. It just.
I've seen you. Well, of course, I've seen your interview with Alan in the locker room.
That was that's and the different with Jerry and Elvira, and we're doing the Bauer barbecue. What day is today?
Yeah.
Tuesday? Saturday. They want
The
stories of the Bauer barbecue.
yeah.
Do you remember the Bauer barbecues? Were you aware of the?
Yes.
Okay, so what do you remember of the Bauer barbecues that I don't remember? He wants stories from me. I don't remember any stories. Do you have stories? Do whoever?
Do you want me to get later for drinks after this, and so we can get real comfortable and talk about this?
See if you can get the fans to remember stories about barbecues. I don't think I had story during the Bauer barbecues because Hillary was my best friend. She was the main story. I wasn't,
Right.
but I showed up. But that doesn't mean I didn't
Right.
see anything happening going on, So, if any of you, anybody watching, can remember a story that I should know, go to Matt. Matt, come to me. Let me know what story I should talk about on Saturday. I need the help. Please. Help me remember. Help me remember.
The only memories I have of the Bauer barbecue is from 2002 until the show ended, and whatever I've seen on YouTube or what I got on DVD. But from your time on,
I was gone. I was not even there. No wonder I have no memory.
I know.
I did attend a barbecue, though. I do remember attending, it had to have been in 85, 84, 85 when I was leaving. So I think they happened prior to that, but I don't know when they started. If anybody knows when they started, I'll have a better idea of what my head trip was at the time. I can't remember.
Well, hey, when we get done, I'm gonna try to research a little bit to see if there's any episodes with you on there from that time, and if I find something, I will let you know. I'll shoot you an email.
Do that.
And I'm a part of a Facebook group that's called Guiding Light from 37 to 09. And whenever I post I'm interviewing somebody always responds. So I could easily post that on Facebook as well, and I'll see if anybody responds back, and I'll let you know.
Do it. Yeah, I'll be the inside joke. Insider info. Thank you. Okay, this is a timely interview. Thank you. Okay.
There you go.
So what else?
What is your memory of Tom Nelson, who plays your brother Floyd?
Tom Nielsen? Oh, I love this man. He auditioned with about, had to have been 6 other guys, I think, to be my brother.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember a lot of them. See, Katie was always fighting fat. I don't know if you remember. That was how they covered up my first pregnancy. It was a fat storyline.
No.
And that's one of the reasons she was so funny, because she was always trying to lose weight, and she was always frustrated. She'd be on the exercise cycle eating bonbons because she was so frustrated because Mark didn't like her and she couldn't get him. Anyway, it was like a whole thing. And the whole fat storyline kind of played into, what was my, excuse my French. I'm trying to remember how that fat storyline connected to, what were you talking about? What'd you ask me just now?
What was it like working with your brother Floyd, Tom Nelson?
So one of the actors that came in as my brother was this heavy set kid, guy. He was darling, but he was definitely overweight. And some people liked him as my brother. And I was more drawn to Tom because he was such a spontaneous actor. He's a theater actor. He responds to what, you're putting out. He like embellishes it. And he was great to work with in the audition. And I remember doing something that was unexpected and he just went with it. I loved that. I really loved that. And I mentioned that as far as him being my favorite. And I knew that they liked this other kid based on my storyline being fat, And I didn't think that played as well as what Tom and I had chemistry-wise together. So I'm glad they went with Tom.
Right.
I'm really glad. And he showed himself to be a very fine actor over time. Yeah. I don't know where he is now. I never, we don't talk. I know in real life he had some bumps and bruises
Right.
along the way. I hope he's well. And if you're watching, Tom, I love you. I do.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna keep trying to reach out to him. Part of the reason why I've been doing this podcast, because like I said, I was a huge Guy and Light fan. I know it's not much saying from 2000, but I studied the show. I researched the show, the characters, the producers, the storyline, the writers, and I fell in love with the show. And that's why I'm always reaching out to you guys to talk to y'all about how I got started and the characters. And I love the show. And not everybody knows this, but I'm trying to put together like a documentary about the show.
That's a huge challenge.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to, but I guess because of my love for the show, I said, well, that's the only thing I know about. So a friend of mine said, just go for it. But I just figured I'd reach out to more people and just talk about y'all time, and I'm gonna see where it goes from there.
Well, more power to you. I think there's a place for the history of the soaps. I think as far as television was concerned, it was certainly a life force back to radio. And I think that radio now, because of COVID, is also picking up steam. I just recently heard that the Park is not going to be outside, but it is going to be broadcast by radio. So I think radio podcasts are going to start coming back. People are going to be listening to theater through a podcast like they used to do with radio. It's
right.
It's not, people are drawn to what is, women used to stay home all day. Soap opera got them out of ironing into somebody's, crazier life than theirs.
Right.
There's a purpose for it. I don't know if that purpose is still around, really. I know that the soaps out in California seem to be thriving, and that's good as long as they keep an audience. I don't know, they'll stick around, but I think a lot of the prime time has gone to soap opera formula. I watch mostly. I'm
right
during the day. I'm doing all this other stuff. But yeah, I mean that I'm not on that business, but I do have a head that tends to look at those demographics that way. I tend to see the big picture. Yeah, I don't know where it would go, and I'm not the one making those big decisions. So I just try to understand it.
Yeah, I recently was talking with a friend of mine about that around the time where all the soaps were being canceled, and with the remaining 4 that's on today, we were talking about that, like how long would they keep going with everything going on today. And Young and the Restless, that's been #1 for a couple of years. I mean, that's one of them shows where, like, I think everybody would have to, like, maybe quit in order to pull that show, because that show's been #1, and it's still, I don't know how to answer that one, but yeah, I don't know how long they'll last. I know the internet taking over prime time and more cable channels.
I think the actors have really embraced the fans, and as long as those actors are willing to keep going, I think that, was it General Hospital, Luke and Laura were big, and then Luke wanted to leave, right? And you lose some of those core people, and you start losing the continuity, I think, of a show. I think Guiding Lights, for me, started shifting. I didn't know soaps that well when I first started them, and I loved Mart Hulswith and Don Stewart as Ed and Don, or Ed and, what was his name?
Mike Bauer.
Mike, right. Ed and Mike. They were not like both of them were not GQ. One was, the other, Mart, was kind of lovable, you know, and not character.
Right.
They kind of did that on one of the shows in, Penny Dreadful, right? What's his face?
Yes.
On Broadway, you know, he's total character actor, and then he's paired with this handsome dude. And they did that with me and, you know, this Louis. He was toward the end there, you know, which made it funny.
Yeah.
And they made it funny with Hillary, who was half my size, you know, and it's visually fun, you know. So that, I think, is fun to go for, as opposed to everybody on the canvas being so gorgeous. It gets boring. But that's, you know, that's your creative people's choices there.
Yeah. I literally just saw the clip where or saw the clip you had posted where Louis was trying to ask Katie out, but you turned him down.
Yeah.
You said just friends.
Just friends, Louis. Yeah, Louis was good to work with, and his writer wrote that scene. His wife, in real life, that was Addie Walsh, and she had a great little knack for humor, humanity. I loved her. I hope to work with her again one day. I don't know where she is anymore.
Right.
But, you know, there's certain people that kind of got my language and were easy to play, you know, because they, you know, soap opera, they tend to pick up on your rhythm patterns that freaked me out in the beginning, where they started writing in my rhythm pattern. I went, okay, that's a rhythm pattern. Okay. You know? So, yeah, but it makes it easy on a soap. You know, you put more of your personality in when it's written close to home, and that kind of thing starts happening on a soap, or even in primetime when you have a series regular, and the writers know what you're going to deliver and how to deliver it, and they sculpt that character to have that kind of you know what I mean? That's when they when they feel like they really know who you are and what you're going to deliver. I'm trying to be as normal as possible. No telling what kind of character will come in this interview. So that's a little scary.
So how much is you and how much is Katie we're talking right now?
How about, say that again? I can't hear you.
I was when you said that, I was saying, so how much is you talking, Denise, and how much is Katie talking right now?
Well, that's the $1 million question, because that's how Katie developed. She had nothing going except for me. So, you know, like I said, they kind of pulled my energy. And then they didn't, you know, use my energy. They just, they sculpted a character, and I had to fit that character. So it was not as much fun.
You know, when you was talking a minute ago, I had forgot that that other guy was playing Ed Bauer, because I remember Peter Simon was Ed, but Mort,
yeah, Mart Helswit was he was lovely. I loved Mart. I still see him and his wife on the Upper West Side here every once in a while. Good man. Getting older, like all of us are. He looks like Santa Claus, to tell you the truth. He's got all this white hair, white beard. He's cherubic cheeks, you know. He's a lovable guy. Lovable guy. And he was a very accomplished. He was running the Episcopal Actors Guild at the time he was doing Guiding Light. And the Episcopal Actors Guild does all sorts of great work for actors. They partner with the Actors Fund to help actors. And, I do a lot of Zoom yoga with them. And I did a social media seminar for them. It's just life. It's like all these sister organizations to the Rehearsal Club, which is my biggest passion. I started with them. Do you know what the Rehearsal Club is? Can I talk about the Rehearsal Club? Do you care about the
Yes, I was going to ask you to talk about that.
I adore this place, mainly because it's now gone. It was a girls' residence for theater women in New York, like a dormitory. It was in a brownstone.
Right.
There were only like 40 girls that could fit. So it was a small community. Everyone was in the theater. I came into New York in 1970, and the city was terrible. It was like graffiti everywhere. There was drugs. I mean, it was not a good city for a girl that knows nobody and is very young. I was not sure I had made the right decision to come to New York to study Martha Graham dance class. It was very scary. But that first night in the rehearsal club, I met all of these girls that were so exciting. They were all in the business.
Right.
They knew more than I did, for sure. All I'd done was a lot of dance classes. And one of the girls coached me on a callback. I went to an open call for Broadway, for the Rothschilds. Right. And all my friends got cut, and I got asked to come back and sing. Now, this has been following me for my life because it's not my strong suit. And one of the girls at the club, one of the girls at the club coached me on a song. She took me down we had a rehearsal piano in the basement, and she said, okay, what do you kind of know? Play the piano. And we went through all these songs, and I came up with If You Could See Me Now from Sweet Charity. And I went back to this big Broadway stage the next day, and I gave the pianist this music that I'd coached with, and forgot the words halfway through. And I was like, that's all I know. And I went to hide in the middle of all these other dancers that are watching you on a Broadway stage, and I'm freaking out. And to this day, I can remember it like it was yesterday. I was scared to death. They hired 4 girls, and I was one of them. And that charted my life because I met my husband in that show, and we got married, and we're still married. And I looked back, the rehearsal club closed in 79, and I had produced something. And one of the girls in the show, Kathy Conry, asked me if I'd ever lived there. And I went, yeah, but who cares? It's gone, isn't it? And then when this group of women, who are rehearsal club women, got together, you've got to go to our website, rehearsalclubnyc.com. You can see everything that we've been doing pro bono, basically, just all of our creativity. We are now incorporated. We're now raising funds for bigger things, like maybe there'll be another rehearsal club built for young women like me at that time and we've kind of created a community that mentors that next generation. We do this thing called a rehearsal club key event, which is not happening this year. However, we're going to do a toast on July 1st. You are all invited, whoever's out there listening. July 1st, go to our Facebook page.
Yeah.
I'm making it live. It's going live. So even if you're not in our database, you can come on live. Facebook Live, July 1st, 7 o'clock. Come see us.
Here's my toast for you right now.
Here's a toast. Yes, I've got the good stuff.
It's a Subway cup, but something counts.
But telling what's in it, I know. Anyway, we're very proud of what we've been doing with the rehearsal club. And we've got a new musical. It's called Good Girls Only. We've got a book. We've got 30 writers who wrote their early stories. And we're looking for a literary agent. Anybody knows? Come see me. We've got, we want to do a documentary. We're hearing what it takes to do a documentary. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
We did the book, we did the musical, but, my friend Charlie Liepart wrote all the music and lyrics and book, not the music, but the lyrics and book to the new musical. And all of that started because he was one of the only writers I knew that I was friendly enough with, that I could say, would you write us a song? Please, just one. And if you look at our website, you'll see how each song developed into like this full thing. It still needs,
Right.
we need a really strong director. I think it still needs a Carol Burnett house mother type character. I
There
mean,
you go.
yeah,
Go get it.
yeah. I want to be a lead producer on that one, but whether or not I get there is another whole thing. But it's good to have dreams, right?
Yes.
And a lot of them. We'll see where they go.
I gotta ask you, was it? Okay.
But
I was gonna say, when you was on, well, I was gonna ask this earlier, but when you was on the show, was it interesting to have Kevin Bacon and John Wesley Shipp on there? Did you work with them?
I did. I mean, who knew Kevin was going to become who he is? I mean,
Right.
Kevin made a very smart choice, though. He really did. I think he dropped out of school, if I remember right, because he got Guiding Light. And then he quit his contract like in a year because he got a great show off Broadway, which solidified his career as an actor. And then he went on to film. I mean, he did some very smart moves. And as an actor in the business, recognizing quality, not the money you're making, but the quality of the work that you're being asked to do. I chose to have babies because I figured, how else am I going to squeeze them in? Women have a different kind of balance going on. And I don't regret a minute of that. I love my babies. These are the babies. Can you see this? You see those? Whoops, there it is.
Yes.
You see those?
Yes, ma'am.
They are all grown up.
Yes, ma'am.
And they're in the Guiding Light shirt. Notice we were number 1 at the time. So I want to share that with you. That's one of my favorite shots. And yeah, my life was all about babies during soaps, and I was so content and very happy. And, you know, Kevin was on a different trip, and I get that. Shipp came in much later. Handsome dude. I mean, if they'd paired Katie, we would have been like Ken and Barbie. I mean, he was cool. He was very cool, but he was not in my storyline really for any kind of radar. It would be interesting. I like him on Twitter. We talk. He likes my gray hair. So, you know, he's a good guy. He's very political. From what I get out on Twitter, he's very passionate. And he still fits into his Flash costume. A little different, but he still fits.
Yeah. I didn't even know he was the original Flash from the original series until they did the reboot
of the Flash. Yeah, he came back as the Flash.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I have a friend who did this Writer's Way. She wants to be a superwoman. That's her goal. She's taking kickboxing. She's taking all these. She wants to be a superhero in films. More power to her, you know.
Right.
I tried to take one of her kickboxing classes. She told me who the guy is doing a kickboxing class on Zoom. So I signed up for an course, right? For a week. They would give you a free thing for a week. I took one class.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was going to die. It was the hardest class I think I've ever taken. And oh my God, it's harder than any dance class I was ever in because dance kind of balances the work. And in that class, I must have done deep plies, like 10, 20 deep plies. And I'm going, no, they don't do this in dance class. They do it slower. No, it was not my thing.
Right.
So what kind of superhero I would be, it would have to be adapted or adjusted a little for where I'm at now in my physical life.
Wonder Woman,
if she could be 50. Sex in the City for seniors.
Oh my God.
Anything else?
Um, oh man.
Man,
Now when you
where
was
is
on
this
the
going at? Are you taping this thing? Is this going to be
well, we are live right now, so on
live?
both my YouTube channels.
Oh my God. Okay, go ahead. Any more questions?
I was gonna ask, so do you have memories of these two who are no longer with us? Sharita Bauer and Christopher Bernard, who was the first Alan
Oh
Spalding.
God, yeah. Well, Charita was like a mother figure for all of us backstage. I mean, she was taking care of all of us, really. And I remember Katie had one scene at Christmas time with all the letters from Santa being dumped on
Right.
the desk. And when we went to shoot the scene, they dumped this burlap bag, 2 burlap bags of letters on my desk. And when I looked at them closely, they were all addressed to Charita Bauer.
Right.
She had tons of fan mail, tons, like Santa Claus. She was very well loved and physically, had a lot of challenges, watching her work and come in being very professional. And yeah, she was very cool. And Chris Bernot, there couldn't have been a more professional actor on that set than Chris. And my scenes weren't with him, so I never really got to work with him. But I watched him with the challenge when he got paralyzed. I don't even know what it was. But yeah, that was really so scary. It's when you get hit with some sort of disease that just knocks it, like Roger, Michael Zaslow, when he got ALS.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Out of his And I was really upset when Guiding Light let him go. But I was thrilled that One Life to Live brought him in, used the storyline, heightened the awareness.
That was really smart on their part.
Yeah. That's what soaps can do. They can heighten the awareness of so many social issues. And I think at that level, they're really, really important. But I think nighttime television is doing a lot of the same thing. But they're much more political, which is a social issue. They're big things, and television and writers have the power to tell some really great stories that people can embrace, understand through characters that they can relate to, that makes it more. I mean, I'll say right now, I don't know what Trump is doing out there. I don't understand how he is functioning. And if it is reality television and he's very good at it, I'm hoping that we the people, see where the line is drawn. Because I think this country is getting crazed with what's going on. He's dividing the country in a way that it breaks my heart. It really does. I was so proud of Obama in the White House. I thought he was the most intelligent. And Michelle, oh my God, she was a perfect white first lady. What we have now, sorry, I'm not in their camp. And I hope that anyone who's out on social media is filtering the bullshit from the stuff that is real, if they can.
Yeah.
It's hard because everybody has a megaphone to say something, and you don't know who's being truthful and who's not, because people say things. I also learned in social media that the people who are influencers, like Trump, if you're saying something and people believe you, you got to be telling the truth. You got to be doing this whole COVID thing. You got to be careful. You got lives on the balance, and you can't. You can't try to be so funny. I mean, it's not a place for that. He's got to be leading the country with integrity and strength and humanity, and we the people are the same. It's, doing to others as you would have them do unto you. It's a golden rule. It's simple. And if you break away all the bullshit and you look at that rule before you do an action, would you want someone doing that to you? I don't think so. So don't do it.
No, absolutely not.
Anyway, off my.
Yeah,
This is
I don't know where this world
pulpit.
is going into. See, this is why I was saying you can run for president because the way you just said all that,
I'm
good
limited. I'm
candidate
not. I'm not
speech.
that smart. I'm really not that smart. I'm not smart enough for that. I'm not an Obama. I'm not even a Michelle. I I'm I'm I am what I am. I am Popeye. No, I don't think I'm smart enough to do any of that. Really, I wouldn't know what to do with it. I work from a very passionate, enthusiastic level on things that I care about. And the rehearsal club women, I love them all because I think they're all just talented, wonderful women who try to help the people around them. None of them, some of them are stars. Carol Burnett's a star, Blythe Danner's a star, but you know what? They have a certain down-home quality about them that was attracted to the rehearsal club. These women were the kind of women they weren't born with silver spoons in their mouths. They were not given a silver tray, go be a star. They were given, Carol Burnett, the story in her thing, she was given an anonymous donor, gave her a gift to take her to New York, and she made the best of it. And then she eventually paid him back. But none of our girls had money. The Rockefellers subsidized the rehearsal club, and we got 2 meals a day for very little money. God, I remember having nothing. I'd go out to anything with my girlfriends, and I would order water, and I would take the bread that's left in the basket home. It's like, it's a different kind of makeup. It's just a different kind of makeup. You don't, the girls in the rehearsal club. There was another one called the Barbizon, which was also a girls' residence, but you had to have a lot of money to live at the Barbizon. You were subsidized by, parents or somebody else that had money. None of the rehearsal club girls.
Right.
And my heart goes out to all of them because they're all, they're great women. They just, some of them went back home to Kansas or whatever. But that's our musical too. We cover the kinds of characters that came into the rehearsal club, and a lot of them, some of them survive, some of them go back home, some of them, it's a yeah, it's cool. I like it. I hope something.
Yeah, I did go on the website and I did check it out. It does seem like a really good group. I like it. I dig it.
Yeah, the music's great. And when we do this toast on July 1st, I've done some videos that I use his music. He let us use the music. So one piece of music has Good Girls Only. This new one that I did called Together We're Stronger was all about the COVID thing. I got pictures from all across the country from all the girls in their masks, and I kind of told a story and used this one song. It's called One Dress, and it's like one mask, dress, mask. Anyway, the concept is supposed to be there.
I get it.
One Dress was created because of the story about somebody, and it might have been Carol Burnett or I don't know, who had one dress that everybody borrowed for an audition or for, they had to return it clean, but they would go to her to get the dress that, I don't know, for the audition or the date or whatever, but there was one dress that everybody wore. And I think I have that dress. One of the girls said that she sent it to me and she said, this is the one dress. And it was a little black fringe thing. I have it somewhere. God knows where it is.
Right.
I've got so much rehearsal club memorabilia in this house stuffed somewhere. But yeah, it's been a big part. And hopefully we're going to start, getting out there bigger. Cynthia Darlow.
Yeah.
Cynthia Darlow. Do you know Cynthia Darlow's name? Cynthia Darlow. Do you know her? No.
Rings a bell, but no, I don't.
Well, she happens to be Mrs. Moskowitz on The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. And she's one of our women. I went to college with her. She's part of our board of directors now. And she's been very instrumental now that she's Mrs. Moskowitz and Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. She can get some, people interested in her, and she always talks about the rehearsal club. So she's been able to help us get, she and I actually went down to talk to the attorneys about incorporation, and now we're incorporated. It's a big deal. And I don't know where.
Absolutely.
I don't know where it's going to go. I was chair when it was just a steering committee, and we didn't do any. We met once a year basically, and we did things in between as a group. But it was not like a corporation where you had to meet. We do meetings every month, and we do minutes every month. I don't like that. So I'm coming off of the board of directors at the end of the fall. But there's a whole group of girls that are so strong and corporate and know how to make the business work on an even higher level. So I'm looking forward to wherever, we end up going from all of that. And I hope all of our creative projects get produced. That's what I'd like to really see. We've been talking for an hour now. Are we done?
That was one of my.
Well, I missed that.
Yeah, we're hitting an hour.
Hitting an hour.
My last. That was kind of my last question.
The what? You're bleeping in and out.
I'm sorry. I was saying, we have hitting an hour. That was kind of my last question to you. Was what is your plan for the rest of the year?
Oh my God, are we saying goodbye? Because I'm not hearing that last part.
Oh man. I was saying to you, we are hitting an hour, but you kind of answered it. I was asking you, what is your plans for the rest of the year?
Yeah, the rest of the year. COVID, get through COVID. That we've got a few million things happening in our life right now. We just sold our house in Connecticut. We're like, my mother she's gone into assisted living. Life happens, and we're into major transitions this year. There's a lot of personal stuff going on. And then my agent, I don't know if I'll have a life, but I'm only with him for a year. And if things work out, great. If not, you won't see me again. So let's make something work this year. But yeah. It's all up to the universe to align into something, and God knows what that's going to be. But there are a lot of irons in the fire. I don't know where they're all going to go. Your mouth to God. Okay. Let's just make sure something good happens. Yes, all good.
Absolutely.
Matt, thank you for having me on this thing.
Hey, listen, I believe in you. No problem.
Okay.
Thank you for coming aboard and talking on my podcast. It's been fun, a blast, and hopefully I can have you. I know you're busy.
Well, you have to let me know any Bauer barbecue stories. Don't forget that. I need to know that by Saturday.
I won't. I got you.
I love you.
Now. I promise.
All right. Bye, everyone. Thank you for coming.
Well, I guess the weather too kind of played a conflict in that too. But thank you for tuning in for PE3 podcast and on the other channel for past. I've always some guiding clips and moments as well. Again, thank you. I had a fun time talking with Denise. I wish we could talk some more. But stay tuned, some more will come. I'm working on trying to interview with Frank Alexander. We're supposed to do one Monday, but family emergency took him away. So I'm hoping maybe next week or the following week I can probably have him come on board. And Beth Chamberlain as well. And some other guy like that as well. We've been having fun with this. And again, thank you. And y'all be safe out there. It's thundering out there a bit. So I don't know what's going on around y'all world. Anybody watching this, but stay safe. Until next time, have a good night.